Hello and welcome back to Curiosity Mine. Last time at the Tamworth Regional Astronomy Club, we looked at a crystal radio set from 1923, one of the first commercially available radios that people could own and use. This time, we're also looking at a first in communications.
So this is a very significant piece of radio equipment. It's a real radio. It's one of the first actual radios that would carry voice or music. Prior to this, all we could do was switch the current on or off, which was the continuous wave or Morse code. We could only send signals by Morse code.
So this radio ties in very nicely with the crystal radio set that we looked at in the earlier video. Crystal radios, or at least the component parts to make a crystal radio, have been around in theory since the late 1800s. The ability of a crystal like galena to detect electromagnetic waves, which would later be used to send radio signals, was discovered as early as 1894, but the first audio to be sent via radio transmission didn't happen until about 1900, and the first potentially publicly accessible but highly experimental radio transmission that anyone could theoretically pick up with a crystal set didn't happen until 1906.
The Morse code could go through a cable, or it could go wireless through the air, but it was only on or off.
Morse code, as Warwick is describing, is a much simpler and more forgiving type of signal. It's either on or off, loud or quiet, something or nothing. And it's the only thing that could be reliably transmitted or received for decades. The first non-experimental Morse code signal was sent via radio waves in December of 1901, and it remained the best way to communicate via radio signals for many years. The Titanic sank in 1912, and it was famous for sending its distress call, both the CQD, or Come Quickly Distress signal, and the relatively new SOS signal via Morse code.
This came up with a completely different idea for sending that signal. Rather than on or off, we had a cathode and anode, as you would have in a vacuum tube, but in between that was a third element, which is given it the name triode. We've probably heard of a triode radio valve.
So what we're looking at here is effectively the first amplified radio receiver, capable of receiving a complex signal like voice or music. As opposed to the unamplified crystal radio, the Audion's triode vacuum tube serves as a signal booster on the receiving end to allow you to better hear weaker radio signals. By all accounts, it wasn't a very good amplifier. It caused a lot of distortion to the signal, but it was an amplifier nonetheless. The Audion was invented and patented around 1906 to 1908, so its invention coincides with the transmission of the first voice messages over radio signals. In a lot of ways, this wasn't just an improvement over the crystal radio, it was a direct competitor to it. Both of these radio technologies have their own pros and cons.
It had to be mounted upside down so that when the heating filament lit up, it might sag a bit, and we didn't want it touching the glass. So it's mounted upside down. Now, Lee DeForest was the man that invented this. This is over 100 years old, 1914, with the first DeForest, and the common name that it was given was the Audion. And this is a DeForest Audion. Because the triode in the middle could carry a varying voltage, because it's interfering between the cathode and the anode, it was interfering with that flow of electricity, and the flow would go up or down. So as a person spoke into a microphone, the current would fluctuate or vary. And the receiver on the other end, through wireless or through a cable, was getting that fluctuating voltage, which could be played on a loudspeaker. So DeForest quality inventions continued. In fact, we've got here a number of DeForest triode valves that went on for many years. And these are quite collectible items these days. Over 100 years old, the Lee DeForest Audion.
Curiosity Mine is on Patreon. Patreon is a service that allows you to directly support your favourite creators to allow them to continue making the content that you like to see. If you enjoy these videos and you think that Curiosity Mine deserves your support, head on over to patreon.com/curiositymine for more information on how you can support the channel directly. If you do, you'll get your name on this list of amazing people who are supporting the channel already. So head to patreon.com/curiositymine or curiositymine.com/Patreon and consider supporting the channel. This video was made with the help of the Tamworth Regional Astronomy Club, or TRAC, with special thanks to Warwick Schofield. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to Curiosity Mine on YouTube and maybe even supporting the channel directly via Patreon. You can also follow along on social media using the links that are in the description. And thank you for watching.